Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's start our chanting before the meditation. If you have our chanting book, you can turn to page 5 or otherwise follow us. Salutation to the Buddha. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. The three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Next page. The 5 precepts. Panati pata viremani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Adinādāna viremani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Kāmesu micchāchārā viremani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Musāvādā viremani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Surameraya majje pamadatthāna viremani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Let's read the affirmative vows. Being aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of all living beings. Being aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, stealing, and oppression, I vow to respect the property of others and to practice generosity by sharing my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in real need. Being aware of the suffering caused by sexual misconduct, I vow to respect my commitments and those of others. I am determined not to engage in relations without love and a long-term commitment. Being aware that words can create suffering, I vow to learn to speak truthfully and develop peaceful, kind, and meaningful speech. Being aware of the suffering that an intoxicated and agitated mind can produce, I vow to develop mindfulness and heedfulness. Next page. Homage to the Buddha. Iti piso bhagavā arahang samma sambuddho vijñācarane sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sārati satta deva manussanang buddho bhagavati. Homage to the Dhamma. Swakkato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccatthang veditabbo vinyuhiti. Homage to the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samici patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani Atte purisa puggala ese bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuniyo pahuniyo Dakiniyo anjali karaniyo Anutterang punyakketang lokassati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next page. Offerings. Offering of light. Ganesarappaditene Deepene tamadang sina Tiloka deepang sambuddhang Pujayami tamonudang. Offering of incense. Gandha sambhara yuttene Dupenahang sugandhina Pujaye pujaniyang tang Puja bhajane muttamang. Offering of flowers. Vanne gandhe gunopetang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindasse siripade saroruhe. Pujemi buddhang kusumene nine punyene metene labhami mokkhang puppang milayati yatha idammi Kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang. Offering of water. Adivasetu no bhante paniyang parikappitang anukampang upadaya patiganhatu utteme. offering of drinks. Adivasetu no bhante gilane patchayang imang anukampang upadaye patigan hatu utteme. Worship of shrines. Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbethani supatittitang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalang sada. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next page. Wish of well-being. Ikcheva macchante namaste niyang namaste manu rate natte yang punyabhi sandang vipulang alattang tassanu bhavene hatante rayo. Reflections on the teachings of the Buddha in English. Mine is the forerunner of all experiences. Mine is chief. Mine made are they. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows like the wheel that follows the foot of the ox. Mine is the forerunner of all experiences. Mine is chief. Mine made are they. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows like one's own shadow that never leaves. Generosity, kind words, benevolent actions towards others, and equanimity towards all beings and all things. These bonds of sympathy function in the world like the linchpin in a moving cart. One by one, little by little, moment by moment. Wise people should remove their impurities, as a smith removes the dross from silver. For one who mindfully develops boundless loving kindness, mental defilements are weakened and the freedom from clinging is seen. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All things are not self. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Welcome, everyone. It's glad to have you all. Nice to see you all in our weekly gathering. And Wednesday has been the day that we all get together and then take care of ourselves. We take care of each other and we take care of ourselves. And what we mean by taking care of ourselves is that we takes care of our mind, and also we spend some time also to take care of our body to direct our loving kindness. I think today we all need a good meditation. I think yesterday was an emotional day for many people. Um, so maybe our emotions are still high, still unstable, and so it's important that we take a time to acknowledge um, and then deeply understand, and then make commitment to our own practice and also to help others to practice more kindness. Um, so when we see um, incidents happening, and we try to divide people as victims and then perpetrators. Um, so of course there are sometimes people who may commit wrong things, but at the same time we need to understand that in a way everyone is a victim. Either we are victim of a system or victim of a social conditioning, and then influenced by those conditions we will commit harm to others, and then in case of sometimes we both groups are victims. So that is why we need more help for people to understand this and for people to practice. So everyone needs to train our mind. Everyone needs to train to detect our to see our own implicit prejudices and biases, and then gradually help everyone to go beyond them. So in order to, so what is really important is to have this training, to look at our own mind and to observe and being able to observe our own thoughts and not being identified with them, but being able to observe them. And that's a really important skill we all need to develop. And then of course then purposely feel empathy and loving kindness to everyone. So let us do our practice and let us understand our own emotions, understand that how everyone else is also victims of their own views or their own emotions, and let us experience within ourselves how we can manage these emotions, and then we will be able to help others too. So I'm glad that we are all here today. Let us get together and make this in a journey together as a group, and then taking care of our body and taking care of our mind. And today we'll acknowledge all different kinds of emotions going on in our mind and accept them, and then let them heal. And then we have more space in our mind to help others. Okay, let us start. So let us remind ourselves that why we are doing this practice. This is to mainly to help ourselves, but at the same time, this also to help many others. Whatever practice we are doing right now is going to benefit so many other beings through the rest of our life. So just think about it. And if I spend this moment genuinely commit in a committed way, and this practice is going to benefit so many people, so many other beings. How wonderful, right? So have that, remind ourselves that I'm doing this to change myself, and then I'll be able to benefit so many others. Just remind yourself that, and then make a determination that I will make use of this opportunity. I will make use of this guidance, and I will engage in a committed practice. Make that determination. With that determination, let us listen to the sound of the bell and help our mind to settle this moment. And then we will do our chant to further help ourselves to be right here. Feel your body. Just settle into this moment and just be with our body. We will take a moment to observe the sensations available or prominently felt in our body right now. Closely feel your feet where they touch now. Just be aware of that sensation of touch. Gradually feel the whole knee area, how the knees are bent, and moving up and feeling the whole area where our body meets the chair or cushion, and feel that sensations of touch, how the muscles are pressed against the weight of the body. And feel the whole upper body, the whole area of the back. Just go around and identify spots in the back where we can feel our clothes. And gently move into our shoulders and feel all around our neck area and the whole shoulders. And we can gradually move down to our arms, all the way to our elbow, and then gradually from there all the way to our palms and fingers. Let us do with our both hands one after the other. With this awareness of the body, we can be right here. We can mentally come to this moment rather than being in our virtual thinking world. We can be here in this reality, in this present moment, by simply being close to our body, being open to all the sensations happening in the body. With this awareness of the body, we can relax our body. It is already relaxed to some extent, but we can further relax and even releasing subtle tightness, stiffness in all over the body. This is a good time to give a chance to this body to completely relax. We are living in a very safe place, and we can completely let go of all the concerns and simply relax everything. We will use our breath to relax our whole body. If you wish, you can lengthen your in breath, taking a very slow, long breath, and release that breath very slowly, allowing your chest to drop, relax, and release. If you wish, you can take another slow, long breath in and release that breath slowly, allowing the whole shoulders to drop further down. If you wish, we can take another long breath, releasing that air very slowly, allowing all the muscles in the body to relax, to release, to loosen. We can breathe normally and allow all the body to simply loosen up. We can drop our jaw inside the mouth to relax our facial muscles. If you wish, you can invite a gentle smile to further relax the muscles in your face. Just experience the changes happening in the muscles. Simply let your palms and fingers to lie there, holding nothing, just lying there. We will let this body to be. Just let it to be. Let it to be as relaxed as it can. With this relaxed body, let us now bring our whole attention to our mind. We will let this body to rest. Simply let it to rest. And then bring the whole attention to the mind. Let us take a moment to observe what are the thoughts, memories, or images that keeps coming to our mind right now. Let us have an open awareness with a sense of curiosity. Let us keep watching. We never know what would be our next thought. We simply watch whatever arising in our mind without developing them further. We will simply notice and acknowledge and let it go and wait for the next one. For a moment, let us have this open awareness, watching what are the thoughts that may come to our mind right now. All different thoughts keep coming up, memories, thoughts randomly occurring. This is the nature of our ordinary mind. Let us now purposely direct our mind to a wholesome thought, a wholesome quality. Instead of these random thoughts, we will purposely generate a wholesome thought to cultivate a wholesome quality. This is a good time to guide our mind to experience one of the most wholesome mental states ever, loving kindness. Loving kindness is a healing quality, is an inner capacity. We all are capable of this loving kindness. It is the wish of well-being. It is the willingness for everyone to be well. It is the genuine goodwill towards all. It is universal friendliness. Let us now open our heart and allow this loving kindness to arise with no barriers, with no obstacles. We will open our heart, allowing that willingness. Am I willing if everyone in this world is happy? Am I willing if everyone in this world is safe? Generate that willingness. Just like when we hold a baby, when we see a smiling face of a baby, when we are petting a puppy or kitten or bird or any other creature, generate that kind of openness, readiness to care. What you feel right now is a spark of loving kindness, opening of the heart and willingness, goodwill. Let us cultivate this. Let us grow this loving kindness to become stronger and stronger. We will keep directing this loving kindness to all different people and all beings. The more we make wishes of loving kindness, the stronger loving kindness becomes. Let us get ready to direct this wholesome wish to all different people and beings. Let us start with ourselves. Before we radiate it to all others, let us radiate it to ourselves, to this being sitting here. Just like it's like an inner fountain flowing from your heart. Before we allow others to come and have this comfort, we will allow ourselves to immerse in this loving kindness. This being sitting here also deserves loving kindness. We will start with this being first. Let us make a genuine wish. May this person sitting here be well, be strong, Be safe. Be healthy. Be peaceful. Keep radiating loving kindness to this person sitting here. If you like to make a specific wish, if you like to address a special concern, make a wish. Make a relevant wish. Go ahead. Be generous to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And make a genuine good wish. May I be well. Be healthy. Be peaceful. Let us take a moment to radiate this loving kindness to this body that has been helping us to live this precious life. Let us be appreciative of all these organs, all these systems, all these parts of the body for allowing us to live this life. With deep appreciation, we will direct our loving kindness to all these organ systems throughout the body. May these lungs that are helping us right now to breathe, may these lungs and whole respiratory system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this heart, cardiac muscles, the whole cardiovascular system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this digesting system, all the organs of this digesting system, which helps us every day to make our body healthy and strong, the stomach, the liver, pancreas, intestine, colon, the whole digesting system, be well, be healthy, be healed. May these kidneys, which are helping us to release the toxins from the body. May both kidneys and whole genitourinary system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this nervous system, the central nervous system that is even helping us right now to meditate, the spinal cord, the brain stem, the middle brain, the frontal lobe, the whole brain, spinal cord, and whole nervous system be well, be healthy, be healed. May all these muscles throughout the body, all these ligaments, tendons, and all the muscles throughout the body be well, be healthy, be healed. May all the bones throughout the body, all these large bones, and all these tiny bones, and all joints throughout the body be well, be healthy, be healed. May this whole body, from the top of the head all the way to the tips of the toes, be well, be healthy, be healed. We have allowed loving kindness to penetrate throughout the body, throughout ourselves. Now we can expand our loving kindness beyond ourselves to everyone else, extending the same loving kindness to everyone else. How good if all others have the same sense of well-being. Let us make that wish. May all people who are meditating with us, all our friends, spiritual friends, and all our beloved family members, and all our good friends, may all these close people in our life, may they all share this loving kindness. May each and every one of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let us expand this loving kindness beyond that circle of people to everyone else. May all people living in our surrounding area, many people living in our whole neighborhood and in our neighboring neighborhoods, may all these people in this vicinity, no matter who they are, let us take a moment to think about them. May all people living in this whole surrounding area be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let us keep expanding this wish as wide as we can. Let us open our heart as wide as we can to embrace as many people, as many beings as we can to this wish. Let us radiate this wish to all people, all beings living in all different places, in all directions. May all people, all beings living in the direction that we are facing now, may all people, all beings living in this direction of our front, from here all the way to faraway places in this direction, may all of them be well, be well, be well. May all people living in the direction of our right, whoever the people and beings living in this direction right now, in all faraway places in this direction, may they all be well, be well, be well. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our back, may every one of them living in this direction right now, be well, be well, be well. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our left. May all of them living here in this direction right now be well, be well, be well. May all people, all beings living in every direction, above, below, all across, each and every living organism, all life without exception, be well, be well, be well, be peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Rejoice, rejoice this open-heartedness, this limitless love pervade into every direction, embracing all beings. This is unbound loving kindness. No, without any exception. It's embracing everyone with this wish. Rejoice. This limitless love, this wholesome state of the mind. Once we experience this limitless love, we can gradually further and further bring our mind to a deeper and deeper calmness. Let us allow our mind to come into experience a deeper and deeper level of calmness. We will gently rest with our breath. We will shift our attention to our breath and allow this relative calmness we developed to grow deeper and deeper. Gently place your attention on your breath. Let the breath occur and closely watch the air moving through your nostrils, filling your lungs, and closely observe the moving out of the air. Closely feel how this breath is happening now. We will simply rest here for next few minutes. This breath is happening right now. This is truly happening. This is the foundation of our life. The breath makes everything else possible. With deep respect and gratitude to the breath, let us be with the breath. Rest with the breath. dukkha pattaca nidukkha bhayapatthaca nibbaya sukampattaca nisukha hontu sabbepi paninu. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Gently come out of your meditation and gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. And take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to have meditation in our life. Feel grateful to all great teachers, enlightened masters in the past who passed this wisdom from generation to generation. Feel grateful to whoever helped your meditation tonight. And feel grateful to anyone who supported your meditation at home by trying not to disturb your meditation. And feel grateful even to this device that helped you to connect to this meditation, and to this bell, to the cushion, the chair, with deep gratitude towards all people and all things that made this meditation possible for us today. Let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. I hope that you all have that inner journey. It's a kind of journey that we all make every Wednesday together, right, Bante?
Yeah.
Travel in this inner journey. I think it has been a quite familiar place for us right now,
Yeah.
right? So when you travel in a trail quite often, again and again, again and again, what happened, Bante?
We can make a pattern or something like it's become a habit.
Let's say we have a very rough trail.
Yeah.
If you continue to walk
Mm.
in that trail again and again, maybe once a week,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is that it's going to make a kind of path, right?
Yeah.
Very clear path. And then after a while, we may not even like. It will be much easier for us to walk, right? So in the same way, every Wednesday and also maybe in other days too, you may be doing this inner journey, like moving through this terrain to and then moving to all this direction, and then ultimately go to the summit and look at the whole world with your loving kindness, and wishing that okay, may all beings be well. It's like going to the summit and then and sending loving kindness to all different directions. It's a wonderful journey, right? So So I think is it easier to travel this path now? How you make it a real strong path, or is it still a difficult terrain to travel? Yeah, gradually, yeah. Maybe not. It's some days maybe easier than other days, So that's
Yeah.
normal. Yeah. Okay, let's move to our discussion. And so if we have chanting books, we can turn to page number 17. Today, if you don't have a chanting book, doesn't matter. You will still be able to benefit from our discussion. And we have been studying the Loving Kindness Sutra, what you call Metta Sutta. And today we have come to the last verse. How many weeks it took, Bhante, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because there are 10 verses.
There are 10 verses, so we have been covering each verse, right? So
Each verse, but not for a week. But I think the first verses we have to take
as
few
together.
weeks, few weeks,
First
because some qualities.
Also, we took in more than 10 weeks,
10
even
weeks.
though there are 10 verses.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we have made a nice journey, and then we have come to the peak of the journey. We talked about what are the qualities we need to prepare ourselves to genuinely practice loving kindness. What are the other the qualities and habits that will support our loving kindness, and that's what we discussed first. And there are 14 such habits and qualities that will support our loving kindness practice in our daily life.
Those qualities which make easy to generate loving kindness.
Yeah, and also maintain loving
Maintain,
yeah. And then we talked about how in a gradual way, in a methodological way, how we can radiate loving kindness, thinking about different categories of beings in terms of sizes, in terms of where they live, in terms of whether they are near or far. So we talked about different first focusing on different categories of beings, and then feel kind to them and radiating loving kindness. And then we talked about how we will wish for other beings also to wish loving kindness to each other. Right? We talked about that web, right? That web, different lines, right? Different lines of the web, connecting lines, and we have this wave line, and then also we have connecting lines. And then we talked about the depth of loving kindness. So the example given by the Buddha, as a mother's love towards a child, and so using it as an example of intensity, and then talking about and understanding that that's the kind of depth of loving kindness we need to maintain towards all beings. This is a real challenge for us. And then we talked about and how and then we how such loving kindness should be directed to all four directions. And then last week we talked about like applying that loving kindness to our daily life, that we ultimately we should maintain such an attitude, not only we are sitting in meditation, but also walking, lying down, and sitting, and except we are in deep sleep, right? In all other postures we need to maintain that. And such a living can be called divinely dwelling here. So today is the culmination of loving kindness. What do you think as the culmination of loving kindness? What would be the culmination of loving kindness? Yeah. Today you will see the last verse. The Buddha is using loving kindness and directing it to kind of wisdom, and directing loving kindness towards the wisdom, and kind of use the loving kindness, and also but you use some elements of wisdom there, right? So today we talk about it. So Bhante, can you chant the last verse for us?
Okay. දිට්ඨිංච අනුපගම්ම සීලවා දස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනේය ගේධං නහි ජාතු ගබ්බසෙයං පුනරේතිති.
Okay, that is how it sounds in Pali. Translation is given here: not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures, he comes never again to birth in a womb. Maybe this may sound a little confusing, right? I mean, we have been talking about loving kindness and suddenly talking about views, talking about, sensual pleasures, and then talking about never coming back to born in a womb. Some people may not like this.
If this is the final, the ultimate end of the
loving kindness. Some would say, okay, the final result of the loving kindness is never to come back. And people say, oh. But let's try to understand the real meaning. Okay. So here we have interesting two terms. One is ditti, which is views, and other one is dassana, which is the vision. So the idea is that we should transcend, we should go beyond views, and then we should rely on vision. Vision here means actually what we mean by dassana is more like a direct experience. I think it's so. At the last stage of loving kindness, we are bringing some, elements of wisdom, and Buddha is advising us to be aware of our views, and don't rely on them, and go beyond them and rely on not on the views but on our direct experience. There are two levels of meaning here. One, what we mean by views here, actually, ditti can means views, our preconceptions, our opinions, our, like whatever, the images we made in our, maybe make in our mind, opinions, views and images, concepts, and all kind of conceptual formulations. So all this, any kind of conceptual formulations, just making in the mind, conceptually making in the mind categories, concepts that can be called ditti, views,
based on past experiences.
Definitely based on past experience. We have some experience, but we don't stop in the experience. We kind of we kind of proliferate it, we kind of conceptualize it, and then create a kind of category. There are two levels of meaning here. One is when we treat others, when we look at other people and other beings, we may first relate to them based on our preconceived categories. It is very easy that we create different conceptual categorization of different people. And it's so funny, Bante, that human beings, although we are one species, for some reason, we really like to like group people. I mean, this is coming from the tribal age. We like to group people in different tribes.
You mean among humans?
Among humans, animals, they have one species. Of course, they also have some kind of group behavior. But this tendency is very strong in human beings. Although we are one species, and we kind of very, very, very quickly we kind of like to categorize. So therefore, whenever we treat people, whenever we see people as someone, and without our knowing, we may look at them through our preconceived categories, like from ditti, from our opinions about them, from what we call stereotypes. And that is why we find all these problems, because we don't really treat the person as the person. We treat that person based on our, our stereotype. That's an interesting term here, Bante. This is not only done by individual people. This is done by institutions. even like some governmental institution, private institution, they also have those stereotypes with regard to different groups of people. I mean, the term we use for that is called, we call profiling. An individual person can have a profile. This person is, having this kind of, training. These sets of skills, but you will also kind of profile different groups of people. And whenever you see such a person, you treat that person not really based on actual incident happening, not based on that, not treating that person as a person, but treating that person based on the profiling they had, the conditioning, the previous categories. I think this is a big problem that we encounter. This is happening at the individual level, this is happening at the communal level, and this is happening at the institutional level. And that is why we, recently like last year, we had that horrible, event, horrible murder. And yesterday was in the verdict. So I think it kind of, shaken, most of our, heads to like pay attention, because that's only one incident that we know happened to be caught in camera, but there can be so many other similar incidents, and in different degrees, happening all around the country, around the world. I think what we can do as an individual, that how much the ditti, how much of these stereotypes, those profiles, those conceptual formulation that we use without our knowing, when we treat people, when we see people. And we should, this is happening in a very unconscious level. People are not really sometimes purposely categorizing people. This is happening at the very unconscious level, because these stereotypes, these conceptual formulations were kind of absorbed by us for through many, many years, even from our childhood, by simply listening to the conversation of adults, and sometimes, even, through education also. So we really had to do a lot of unlearning to like get rid of views, and be open to the real experience rather than, conceptual categories. It's a real challenge. It's more difficult than we think. I think so. That's why we need to kind of, have this kind of discussions, and try to educate all people that, we carry all these preconceived categories, stereotypes, profiling, to when we meet people, and then we should experiment with ourselves. Whenever we see a person in a store, in a park, what would be our first impression? I always ask people not to trust, not to, take the first impression for granted, because the first impression comes from our previous conditionings. As soon as we see that person, based on the dress that person is wearing, based on their skin color, based on, the language they speak, whatever, we will quickly put them into a category, whatever category that we have been taught, or we have learned, consciously or unconsciously, and then we treat that person based on that category. We don't really open to the actual conversation that can happen.
It is somewhat dangerous either way, in positive or negative way, we can see.
Yeah, exactly, Mante. Yeah, we can positively categorize someone, we
Yeah.
can negatively categorize someone. But yeah, I think the idea is that, that be open to the actual, things happening. Maybe so it doesn't ask us to, like, get rid of be naive and just, be exposed to anyone, anything. No, we should not prejudge, but we should allow that actual situations to, and we should allow our direct experience to guide us. Maybe in a certain group of people, when we really, meet them, and then in the direct experience that we are having, them may guide us to kind of, move away, maybe. But we do it based on our real experience, not with our preconceived categories. I think so we should educate our children, and we should educate our adults, and and let people know that these things are coming through our unconscious mind. We really have to train our mind to catch, you know those things are coming up, like popping up, like they're like coming up in a very unpredictable way. So we should always experiment with our mind. Whenever I see a person, whenever I see someone, what comes first to my mind? Am I treating? Am I being open to the direct real experience that going to happen, or am I carrying preconceived notion and then already make a already categorize that person and try to treat that person based on that category. I think, we also have our own experience, Bande, right? And I always try to catch those thoughts coming up to our mind. And usually, one experience I can share, is like, we know that as travelers from country to country, we have to go through immigrations, right? So sometime in the immigration, the whole process of checking your passport, asking why you are coming, what your plans, all these things. Sometimes we had some bad experiences, right? So based on that, whenever we see an immigration officer, we have a stereotype. Oh, he's going to give me a hard time, right? That's the kind of attitude we have. So we approach that person with that attitude, and we try to respond with that attitude. And then, we don't really open to the real things happening here. We hear everything that person is saying based on our previous categories. So, that has, being a conditioning for me. So I try my best to, like, whenever I approach an immigration officer, like, really try to approach this as a person. This person is visiting is an officer definitely, but he's a person. And I don't have to like carry my previous experience necessarily to like talk with him. So I check my mind, and I always try to give my biggest smile I can give to him, and I will always try to like treat him, like talk to him as a person rather than like kind of image that I have in my mind. I think so. This is the kind of experiment we had to do with ourselves. So that's what is meant here, like not relying on views, not relying on our conceptual formulations about people, even about animals. We talk about Bandera. Sometimes we have those stereotypes about animals. The one good one is about snakes, right, Bande? Whenever we say snakes, through our literature, all these things we have learned that snakes are dangerous. But we know that yes,
Skunks.
skunks, right? But sometimes they may not that dangerous, right, Bante? Of course, we shouldn't go naively and be exposed to them, but we have to really pay attention what is happening. But rather than relying on our previous conceptualization, we should rely on our direct experience, and that is what is meant here. Yeah. So it's a challenge. It's something that we all have to evolve into, and that is like the last stage. The highest now. Yeah. Through the practice of this loving kindness, we are gradually going beyond our conceptual categories, and then moving to our being ready to rely on our direct experience with people and with beings, and then based on that we will navigate our behavior, our response. We should never, like, we train ourselves not to respond to anyone based on our conceptual categories or stereotypes. Any thoughts about that?
Bante, we have a question.
We have a
First, we
question?
had from Joe. What about loving kindness?
So, yeah, loving kindness even towards the immigration officers. Yeah, he's making a comment. Yes, Joe. Yeah, loving kindness.
This one.
How to channel loving kindness in moments when you just can't seem to touch it or tap into it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so. There are moments that we may not be able to tap into our our potential of loving kindness due to maybe what is happening around us. So those moments, I think he's asking, how can we, how can we, how can we practice loving kindness in the moments that we don't feel like being loving and kind, maybe due to whatever happened previously or whatever. And maybe the one good suggestion would be just do it, and just say it in your mind. You may not feel like wishing well-being, but through our previous learning we should know that although some people can be aggressive, kind of violent, but we know that and they are being conditioned by their upbringing, maybe whatever suffering or problems that are going on in their life, so we should guide them to overcome them. But based on that, although we don't feel like having a wish of loving kindness, uh that it's not something that I feel like doing it, but with your knowledge, that you should know that ultimately this is also a person, a victim person, and conditioned by all the previous background, whatever. And therefore, although we don't feel like doing it, we just have to say it in our mind. Just repeat these phrases. Oh, this is horrible, this person is so bad, but may he be well. May he be well, so we can say it, like, say it until you feel it. Don't wait until don't wait to You don't wait until you feel it to say it. Say it first in your mind, and then you will feel it. Yes, Dana?
Out of curiosity, for each of you, while traveling, say out of 10 times, how many times have you been possibly profiled?
What do you mean by profile? You mean
pulled aside possibly because of the way you look? Just out of curiosity.
I think those things happen, unfortunately, one time in the US, but most of the time it has happened to me in Singapore and Malaysia. Yeah. I think I had about 5, 6 like secondary interrogations, making sure that you are really going to the place you are telling. And so I have about 5 or 6 such experiences I had. Yeah. And it's so funny that it may mostly happen in Malaysia and one time in the US and also Singapore. But what is really funny thing about I traveled to Singapore quite often because I studied there, and it was and then I became a US citizen 2 years ago, right? And then I traveled with my US passport, and then is the one that they had to put me into a different room, and I had to answer so many questions. And it was a really interrogation. So it happened because I traveled with a US passport. Yeah. Interesting, right? Yeah. Okay, let's so far what we talk about is actually the one meaning of this idea of how to move away from our views and then more rely on the vision. But deeper idea in this practice of loving kindness is actually among the conceptual formulations, the one that's the most fundamental, one of the most ingrained, deep conceptual formulation is the idea of I, ego. So the deeper meaning here is actually through practice of loving kindness, we are not only kind of transcending the stereotypes of different people, right? But also try to transcend our our conceptual formulation of a separate I. So this idea of I is the most deep conceptual formulation. So what is happening at this highest level through as a result of practice of this loving kindness, and we begin to understand that whatever we think as I is no more than an idea. Because how we think of ourselves is usually a kind of fixed, permanent agent, and that is how we think about ourselves. Whatever whenever we have the idea of I, what we imply is the fixed, permanent agent. But with practice of loving kindness, we begin to understand that this whatever I call I is a process, is a movement, is a fluid thing. It can change. It can. When more you explore about what is happening inside, you begin to see this changing, not fixed nature. And then as a result, we kind of loosen of the boundaries of I. Otherwise, we create a kind of very fixed boundaries of I. This is I. This is me. This is mine. And no one is allowed to come into this. Don't tread on me. That's the very strong, boundary of I, right? So, but eventually, the more we practice, more we explore ourselves, we begin to understand this boundary is not fixed. You cannot have that fixed boundary, and what is inside in this boundary keeps changing, keep changing all the time, physically, mentally. All these things are changing. So we understand the fluid nature of I, and thus endowed with vision is that endowed with this correct understanding that this what we call I is not a fixed entity, but it's a moving process. And once we understand that, it's much easier for us to relax. And we don't have, it will release so much of our worries, because otherwise we try to protect and defend this special being, special I, which do not exist actually. But so much of unhappiness and worries comes because of that deep view, which is not easy to get rid of, but we all have that, but we can loosen it. We can loosen it, and at least intellectually we can understand the fluid nature of it, and gradually through meditation we can understand, we can directly experience that fluid nature, and then we can relax. We understand that we are not as separate as we think from the rest of the world, and it is kind of relaxes everything. So, but and then the other important part of this sutta is that not removing removing desire for sensual pleasures. Here we have the term karma, and here actually the Buddha is talking about more like a result of loving kindness, and through practice of loving kindness we can get rid of our craving for sensual pleasures. This happens in two different ways. Of course, all beings are looking for any kind of pleasure, any kind of sensual pleasure through our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, like either consuming, like pleasure of consumption, and either, like watching, eating and listening. So that's how everyone is moving. But what they say that through, as a result of practice of loving kindness, we kind of move away from that sensual pleasure. We don't rely so much on our sensual pleasure to feel fulfilled. Because one thing is that we through loving kindness we find a more higher, deeper level of happiness. You may have all experienced that and as a result of practice of loving kindness, when you come to that peak and kind of fulfillment we feel, once we experience that, the joy we get from sensual pleasures become kind of low level of happiness. And other one is actually whenever we indulge in sensual pleasures, sometimes we exploit others. We exploit other people. We exploit other resources for our own personal pleasure. We kind of exploit others in different ways. But with loving kindness, you will not do that. You will not do that. So you kind of transcend that. And as a result, this also result in culmination of metta, loving kindness, is that he comes never again to birth in a womb. This has a number of layers of the meaning, but it really means that it's kind of, and that means you are enlightened, either full enlightenment or a higher stage. Now there are 4 stages of enlightenment, right? So you achieve the 3rd stage of enlightenment which means that you will never come back to the sensual realm. So generally, it means that you become selfless. Becoming enlightened means that transcending the self-centeredness, right? So the culmination of loving kindness practice is actually become selfless, which means to become enlightened, and we will not uh, uh, perpetuate ourselves as a separate individual anymore, and that's what we mean by the enlightenment. So we'll never come back to the womb as a separate individual being, because we already kind of have become selfless, and that's a deeper concept that we need more time to deeply understand. But so the culmination of loving kindness is actually developing this wisdom and understanding the selflessness, and breaking the boundaries of the self, and then become enlightened, and that's the culmination of loving kindness.
Ante,
Yes.
what about Bodhisattva? Is that one of the realms, the four realms of enlightenment, being a Bodhisattva?
Yes, actually, it's a good question, Nancy. They may reach, the third level, and sometimes even go beyond that, and they will not achieve the full enlightenment, not break the last bit of thing, because
So you can come back.
yeah, they can stay in the samsara. Yes, yeah. So then they can return and keep helping and helping other beings. Yeah. So they purposely kind of delay the enlightenment. Yeah. But eventually they will also become Buddhas. Yeah. But but we don't know how long. Yes. Yeah. So not coming back to the womb doesn't mean that you kind of achieve complete enlightenment there, because there are many other forms of lives too. Okay. I hope that let us wish that may this may this understanding be spread all around the world. And of course there are so many levels of meaning here, but at least for our own for the today's need, we need to spread this understanding that without our knowing, we communicate with others, we treat others based on our conceptual formulation rather than direct experience. So we really try to allow ourselves to judge, or will allow ourselves to respond to people based on the real experience happening there, not bringing our preconceptual formulations. I mean, but that happens in a very unconscious manner. We really have to train our mind to catch that. It's not easy, but we can. We should try. We can and we should. Otherwise, we will not be fully human. So we really have to do that. Okay, with that, let us move to the other part of the program, sharing merits. Turn to page 14. We're coming to this practice and doing this practice together. We have generated so much goodness in our heart that we would like to share with everyone. Let us share these merits first of all with our ancestors, with our departed family members, and with gratitude. Let us wish that may they all share these good merits. May they be benefited from them. May they be well and happy wherever they may be. Idang mi ñatinang hotu sukita hontu ñatayo. Idam mi ñatinang hotu sukita hontu ñatayo. Idam mi ñatinang hotu sukita hontu ñatayo. Let us also share these merits with everyone else. If there's any being in this world who would like to share this merit, may he or she do so. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Ettavata ce amhehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Wish for the well-being of the world in English. May the weather be pleasing. May the people prosper in their lives. May there be peace and happiness in the world. May the rulers be righteous. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are in grief be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Aspiration. May this wholesome act quicken the liberation of my mind from mental defilements. By virtue of this wholesome act, may I never follow the unwise people. May I associate with good people until I attain Nibbana. Purification. If by body, speech, or mind I have carelessly done wrong, I acknowledge them all in front of the Tathagata of great wisdom and determine to be heedful. Let us now chant the Loving Kindness Sutra. This sutra, we know the deep meaning of this sutra now, but we can also chant this sutra as a source of blessing. And this particular sutra was given by the Buddha with great, great compassion for all living beings. And so we wish that may this chanting help you to receive the blessings of the great compassion of the Buddha. And may you receive the blessings of the wholesome vibration that we are generating now. May you receive the blessings of the loving kindness. With these blessings, may you all be blessed with good health, peace, happiness, and strength in your mind and body. And today, especially, we want to direct our blessings to our friend D, who just had an asthma attack, who is now recovering. We let us focus our mind on her, wishing our D to have a smooth recovery and healing, and keeping her in our mind and wishing her good health. And let us chant and let us absorb and receive these blessings. May you all receive these blessings. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamicce sakko joce sojoce suaco casansa mudu anatimani santos sekoce subaroce ampakit joce salla hokavoti santring liyoce nipakoce ampagabbo kolesu ananugindo nachakundang samacari kincina vinyo pari upavadiyum sukino vakimino untu sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta ike cipana දීගාවායේ මහන්තාවා මජ්ජිමාරස්සකානුකතුලා දෙට්ටාවා ඒව අද්දෙට්ටා යේච දුරේ වසන්ති අවිදුරේ භූතාවා සංභවේසීවා සබ්බේ සත්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතත්තාන පරෝ පරන්නිකොබ්බේත නාති මඤ්ඤේත කත්ත චිනං කංචි ව්‍යාරෝසනා පටිග සංඥානාඤ්ඤමඤ්ඤත්ස දුක්ඛමිච්ඡය මාතා යතානියං පුත්තං ආයුසා ඒක පුත්ත මනුරක්ඛේ වම්පි සබ්බ භූතේසු මාන සංභාවයේ අපරිමාණං මෙත්තං ච සබ්බ ලෝකස්මින් මාන සංභාවයේ අපරිමාණං උත්තං අදෝචති වියං ච අසම්බාධං අවේරං අසපත්තං තිට්ඨං චරං නිසින්නෝ වාසයානෝ වායාව තස්ස විගදමින්දෝ ඒතං සතින් අදිත්තේය බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමාහෝ දෙට්ඨින් ච අනුපගම්ම සීලවා දස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනීය ගේදං නහි ජාතු ගබ්බසෙයං පුනරේති ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සොත්ති තේ හෝතු සම්බදා ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සම්බ රෝගෝ විනාශසතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං සබ්බීතියෝ විවජ්ජන්තු සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනාශසතු මාතේ භවත්පන්තරායු සුඛී දීඝායුකෝ භව භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ. Let us spend a moment of reflection. We will record to our mind whatever good deed, a kind deed that we were able to do during last few days. Record to your mind an act of kindness that you were able to do during last few days. Any moment that you were kind to someone. Let us rejoice these moments. These moments are very promising moments that help us to understand that we can overcome our defilements, we can grow our goodness. Let us rejoice those moments. On this day, or in the past, if I have done kind deeds to other beings, with my body, speech, or mind, whether great or little, here before the Buddha, I call to mind those kind deeds, and let my heart rejoice. I rejoice in those kind deeds, appreciating the opportunity to be helpful to others. I rejoice in those kind deeds, wishing more opportunities to practice compassion. I rejoice in those kind deeds, resolving not to compare myself with others. I rejoice in those kind deeds, and gladly share this joy with all beings everywhere. May my kind deeds relieve the burdens of other beings. May my kind deeds shield me from all dangers and pain. May my kind deeds and merits that come from them help me in freeing my heart. Let us now recall to our mind whatever kindness we receive from others. During last few days, you may have received kindness, help from others. Just recall those moments to your mind. Recall an actual moment that you received some help and kindness from someone else. Let us rejoice the goodness of others. On this day, or in the past, if I have seen or heard of the kind deeds done by others with their body, speech, or mind, whether great or little, here before the Buddha, I call to mind those kind deeds, and let my heart rejoice. I rejoice in the goodness of others, being always ready to praise kind people and follow their example. I rejoice in the goodness of others, appreciating that there are many good-hearted people in the world. I rejoice in the goodness of others, expressing gratitude for any kindness done. May the kind deeds of others bring safety and happiness to many living beings. May the kind deeds of others foster gratitude and fellowship among many living beings. May the kind deeds of others nurture goodness in me and many living beings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for joining us. I miss tying the blessing strings. I hope that I also miss our tea, right? Remember we usually we used to get our tea at the end of the service, but these days we have to make our own. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you, Bhante.
yeah, welcome and thank you. And we hope that we will be able to get together physically. At least next month. When you all get vaccinated. At least we can have vaccinated people here, and we can.
Back to one on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
I get my second one next week.
Okay, great. Yeah, hopefully, by May, everyone will be vaccinated, right? So we all can come here. Okay, let's plan for that. Either here or in our new place. It's all up to the contractor. How fast it's moving.
Have they started?
Yeah, they just started last Monday. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you, everyone. Look forward to see you again, and have a great night. Good night. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.